And we're back, and we're still talking about money. We're going to be talking about money for all day, I suppose. The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, a fellow that died while he was incarcerated. The courts awarded his estate 10 point something million, which, you know, officials are saying that that's not going to cost the county because of the way they can move things, and or I don't know.
Yeah.
But there are 6 or 7 more suits now lining up based on violation of civil rights. That's going to cost us down the road. Am I reading this wrong, or can they just keep moving things around?
No, so we sat through the trial of the Frontier, covered all every day of the trial for 3 weeks. Elliot Williams died over about a 5-day period. Videotaped this last 51 hours of his life, and he had a broken neck, laid on the floor, kept saying he was paralyzed. They decided, for whatever reason, that he was faking, and didn't feed him, didn't give him water. They put it near him, but he couldn't move. So it was a pretty horrific case. And I think the county, honestly, was pretty foolish to let this go to trial and get in front of a jury. The jury were upper middle class educated folks. They paid attention, took notes, heard all the evidence, and decided that this was his suffering was worth $10 million, and that the sheriff's office was what they call deliberately indifferent as the standard. You can't just say this is one isolated incident. It has to be seen in a bigger context. And so, but we all are going to pay for it. Anyone who owns property is going to pay for it.
Yeah,
goes in
and
the sinking
two,
fund.
if these other cases go in,
Right.
a violation of civil rights, people in these parts, you can't just declare a change of venue on a civil
it's gonna
rights
go
violation.
to those, believe me, that lawyer is open to settlement talks, and there have never been any serious settlement talks with the attorney who's filed these cases on behalf of these families. The county might want to look at the lawyer that's representing the county. Clark Brewster has made $1 million since 2010 or so. You know, maybe it's time to switch horses. I don't know. It seems like it would be a prudent thing to look at.
I was actually surprised that the award was only 10.25.
It would have been much higher if this case had been heard on the East Coast or somewhere in some city where you had typically hired jury verdicts. They're lucky.
Well, they were asking for 51 million.
51.
And there was absolutely, the county had no experts speaking on its behalf because they missed a deadline to file for their experts. There's some serious flaws in the defense of this case. And again, I think it would be wise for the county to just look and see who's out there that might give them second opinion on the legal advice.
You know, county and city people typically are not very motivated to fight these things because the money comes out of the sinking fund, which is not the general fund.
It's not their budget.
It's not their budget,
It's our budget.
And the sinking fund is funded by increases in property taxes that are made depending on how many lawsuits you lose.
Right.
So big deal. We lose the money. It's not out of our kitty.
I still get to buy so many police cars next year. I still get to buy whatever. Yeah.
So we will pay.
We pay.
Yeah.
If you own property in Tulsa County, you will pay.
If you rent property, you'll pay too.
Yes, well, because your
the
landlord
rent
is
will go
paying it.
The jail's talking about a $3.5 million shortfall for next year. County commissioner says the $720,000 the city is offering is a joke. So we're getting into a little bit of a contest here between the city and the county over that amount of money. Now the city of Tulsa is facing a $5 million shortfall over its expected revenue for the coming year.
Well, the jail, another problem they're going to have is that we changed the law in terms of drug possession. It's now a misdemeanor for most possession instead of a felony. So the guys that were being shipped off to the prisons are going to be winding up in county jails.
That's a good
And
point.
that's going to be bad in Oklahoma County and Tulsa County.
Yeah, you know, the Oklahoma County Jail doesn't have special tax streams from sales tax going to support it. The county entities have a lot of money coming in terms of property tax that doesn't go up and down when people buy things from Amazon. And so, frankly, I think the fact that they have not one but 2 special sales tax streams to fund this jail, now they've got the mental health pod streams.
That's what I'm going to say, the mental health side of it.
They have shifted expenses from the non-jail side of the sheriff's office to the jail side for years to support their continued spending. There needs to be an audit. They haven't handled the jail funds very well. And, you know, I don't think there's any proof that they can't afford to run that jail with the $40 million a year they get. Sorry.
Got to move on to another one. We're going to run out of time here. We got about 220 some odd thousand legal immigrants in Oklahoma. various legal status, but these are the legal ones. Two issues that come out of this. Oklahoma says that in 2014, these immigrants paid a total of $346 million in state and local taxes. Non-legal immigrants also end up paying into the tax pool. Now, the question is, with the administration in Washington saying, we're going to start knocking on doors and dragging folks out and shipping them back to Mexico or wherever, will that dent our even more the revenue tax base from Oklahoma?
Well, of course, they're targeting people with criminal records. I mean, and not just the fact that they might be here illegally. I think there's going to be a lot of give and take on this issue because there are people that feel strongly about the low-cost labor that these people come in. And so maybe there may be a worker program.
But at the same time, Charlie, you got New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Los Angeles, all saying, you know what? We're not going to play this game. We're going to protect the immigrants who are here legally or illegally. And the government's saying, fine. Sessions comes out and says, we'll cut off federal funds to your city, and they're going, fine, cut them. But we're protecting these people. What will Oklahoma do?
Well, I mean, so Vic Regalado in Tulsa County has a 287G contract, which is a contract with the U.S. Marshal Service and ICE to hold people who are arrested. The sheriff's office doesn't go out and round up people, but I've noticed a dramatic increase in the number of people booked into our jail for ICE-only holds. And I've asked about it, and I've been told that these people are being actually brought from Dallas because there's no room now in their jails to hold these folks whose only crime in some cases is violating immigration laws. They may have some old something on the books, but in the booking records, it doesn't say.
Well, tell me
otherwise.
something. Is there a move then afoot to pay attention to all the jails that are becoming crowded?
I don't see one. I mean, it's a moneymaker for the sheriff's office. They can hold people at on the order of $89 a day or so per person, which is a profit.
It's a revenue stream.
So we've got 4 new pods. What better way to fill them up, and you get the sales tax from them, and you get the. I mean, I think it's just
Can illegal immigrants sue over civil rights violations?
They have the same protections that I believe that and can sue. I don't support illegal immigrants in our country especially if they've committed serious crimes. I mean, the other thing is that there are people who have been brought here as children, and the DREAM Act per se, that's a stickier question. Even the president has said so. So there's some gray areas here. I don't think people should be rounded
in
up in church.
California, the number of in the last 2 months, the number of people coming in illegally has dropped by over 40%. So just the notion of we're going to start enforcing those immigration laws may be a deterrence.
Right.
Well, I know for a fact because I've talked with 2 different teachers, and
Kids are afraid to go
independent
school.
of one another, have said that they've had children in their classroom who they found in tears because they're scared
Yeah.
that ICE is going to knock on the door in the dead of night and haul them off. I mean, that's an awful thing to put a child through.
A lot of families have safety plans now. What happens if I come home and mommy and daddy are gone? I mean, that's pretty sad. I think they need to focus on the worst of the worst, get those out. And it's not our biggest problem. We've got bigger problems in this country.
I'm
right now.
surprised they haven't resurrected the Japanese holding pens out in Arizona and Mexico from World War II.
Well, they
I think
have.
you're going to see the decrease in crime reported in the minority communities because they're going to be afraid to call and
They
say,
don't wanna
hey,
call.
somebody just broke into my house or somebody just smashed my window.
Or my husband just beat my face.
Yeah,
You know that's already going on.
Yeah. It
I
is.
mean,
Okay.
it's already happening, John. You may be an outstanding journalist.
I just wanted to add something, Sam.
Probably said something, yeah.
I think it's a good point, and I think he's
It
right.
is a valid point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing.
Yeah.
A third of the drivers in Oklahoma don't carry mandatory liability insurance. And I have a suspicion that a lot of those people are here illegally.
We got 45 seconds, and I got to get at this end. Before you leave, please tell me who paid the money to the woman and her attorney over the sexual harassment issue in Oklahoma recently. We had a Tulsa rep that, was nailed on
Right.
that, and he resigned.
I mean,
Where'd the money come from?
Yeah,
They said
good
it was part of
question.
a fund in the House.
they've got a hush fund,
Slush fund.
instead of a slush fund in the House, and as I understand it, there have been several payments, not just but
Really?
because of that lawmaker. There have been others as well.
And how would one go about finding out
Well,
who got
the
'em?
legislature, in its wisdom, exempted itself from the Open Records Act. So,
Oh, well, do
so
wacka.
you
Thank
have to
you
make a
all.
lot of noise.
You be careful, child.
I
Stay
will.
in touch. Let us hear from you,
I
and
will.
best of luck to you.
Thank you for. It's been an honor to be on the show with you guys.
It's been an honor
It's
to
really
have you on the
smart guys.
panel. We're out of time. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time around. John?